How can Glacier Lake outburst floods?
Mr. Nitin, you are from UT of Jammu and Kashmir, right? What is the status of the Legislative Assembly which used to exist before this scrapping of 35?
So Hindi was the first language that was introduced to us by the mother, and we have been
From UT of Jammu and Kashmir, right?
English as your preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
Hi Nitin, then why don't you introduce yourself to the board?
So my name is Nitin, and I am 25 years old, and I have done my graduation in computer science and engineering, and that I've done from IIT Ropar. And I come from Jammu and Kashmir, and my father is a lecturer, and mother is a homemaker. So that's it. Basic.
When did you complete your graduation?
Sir, in 2019,
What are you doing since then?
preparing for this civil services.
Okay. What is the story of this extra T in your name?
Sir, so this is a reflection of the dialect that we speak. So we speak Dogri in our region. So there is a stress on the sound of when they speak Nitin. So that's reflected here.
Your mother tongue is Dogri or Hindi?
Sir, Hindi it is.
Why not Dogri?
Sir, I thought about it and I went into the technicality of that. So Hindi was the first language that was introduced to us by the mother, and we have been speaking Hindi at home. So Dogri is not that much used. So that's why I've written
So supercomputing used to be a buzzword.
yes, sir.
What happened to that field?
So that obviously we had various computers. Even in India, we were like the Param series that we had, and we invested in those computers, and they are working. But quantum computers are going to take over them, and that are going to be the future of supercomputing. So it is working, but in a gradual way, it is working.
So has happened as far as the IT firms are concerned. It appears the firms which were earlier the North Star of computing thing, the IBM and other companies, in Indian context the CMC and other companies, they appears to be under eclipse now.
Sir, if we talk of the processing capabilities that the processors that are required, so they are working there in those fields. Like IBM is working in the field of manufacturing processors and all, but they are overtaken by Intel and new companies, new entrants that are there. Apart from that, sir, this is a very dynamic field, so we can expect that new players will come and they will overtake the older ones.
And recently, in fact only yesterday, there was this news of final discovery of lithium
Yes.
deposits in your state. Tell me three reasons why the Kashmiris should be excited about it, and at least two reasons why Kashmiris should be really worried about it.
So the three reasons that Jammuites and Kashmiris will be excited about this would be the economic prosperity that it can offer to the region, and apart from that, connectivity with the rest of the country and better integration with the rest of the country. Apart from that, employment opportunities will be produced for the locals, and moreover, it will be a positive step for the country for semiconductor and all, and the batteries that we will be manufacturing. So these can be the reasons, but the reasons to be worried about is the environment issue that it can cause, and pollution issues that it can cause in the local regions. So they need to be worried about that as well.
How the raw lithium as it will be found, will be processed, and what is going to be the final product?
Sir, the lithium ion batteries that we have.
What is the atomic number of lithium?
Sir, it's 3, I guess. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, 3.
Okay, continue please.
So it will be useful in lithium ion battery that we have, and this is the best technology that we have currently for storing electrical energy. Apart from that, the issue, you're asking the issue that it can cause. Sir, it is very chemical intensive industry, the mining that is associated with it. It can cause pollution, and the effluents that may be drained in the nearby regions, they can cause even like congenital issues as well. So that can be the major problem.
Fine, thank you, we'll come back. So,
Nitin, what is the structure of National Security Council?
Sir, I'm not. I'm
Have you
not
heard
aware
of Strategic Policy Group?
Yes, sir. I have heard of these terms, but I'm unable to recall right now, like exactly the structure.
Okay, fine. Recently, National Commission of Women launched 4th phase of Digital Shakti campaign. Can you tell us the features of that?
Sir, I'm not aware of this.
Okay. And the Great Nicobar Plan, are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, that Government of India is planning to develop the region, the Great Nicobar Island, as a major transport hub in the region. So it will be a port of call center, and the various ships that go through that route, they can stop there, and so it can emerge as a logistics center as well. So it will be a growth pole for that region. Moreover, it has strategic value as well for India because of its influence in the Andamans and the Indian Ocean. So that's why we are developing that.
Anything else?
So tourism is also a very prominent factor in that project.
Fine. What is this Köppen's classification of climate?
So Köppen, he was the first one who associated climate with vegetation. So he used vegetation of a region as a basis for climatic classification. So he gave A, B, C, D as alphabetic symbols for types of climate. So we have the climates like A, C, D, E, which are in the wet regions, and we have the drier regions we are denoted as B type, and then further that we have the steppes and the desert type, and A, C, D, E we are that are based on isothermal mean temperature.
So if you have to classify Kathua, so what classification will you give?
Sir, Kathua can be given as C, where winters are dry, so CW, it can be given that classification.
Okay. Okay, do a SWOT analysis of J&K economy.
So J&K economy that we have right now is primarily dependent on agriculture and tourism. So in agriculture we have horticulture as the main factor, in which the Kashmir Valley leads in that, and in the other tourism sector also, Kashmir and in Jammu region also we have various tourism destinations. Apart from that, it is a serious security concerns are also related with this.
First, you are talking about strengths first.
Yes.
SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threat analysis.
So I thought
Okay.
short analysis, so I wasn't aware of that.
So you are taking a shortcut, eh? Okay, fine. You told about the strengths and what are the weaknesses.
So weaknesses is, we can say, the remote areas that we have, and due to that we have infrastructural limits. So it causes limitations on economic activities. Apart from that, again, this insurgency and terrorism issues, they are also very discouraging for economic development. And rest we have less integration with the rest of the country. So these can be
Opportunities.
Sir, opportunities again we have in tourism, in agriculture, horticulture, and in art and crafts we have a great opportunity there, in carpet industry, and moreover recently we have intents from UAE for investments in Jammu and Kashmir. So they are exploring IT option as well, whether it can be grown as a IT hub. So these can be.
Thank you.
Nitin, when was Jammu and Kashmir part of the empire of Maharaja Ranjit Singh?
Sir, in 19th century, it was a part of Mr. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's empire. But after his death and after the British, they annexed, he died in 1839. So after that, British annexed Punjab, And there was a treaty between Raja Gulab Singh and the British. So after that, it was the empire of Raja Gulab Singh.
So how come the Britishers identify Gulab Singh to have a treaty?
So they have a treaty of Lahore, I guess, or treaty of
Who was
Amritsar.
Gulab Singh that time? Why did they enter into treaty with
Sir, Gulab Singh was he was given the charge of Jammu and Kashmir by Raja Ranjit Singh.
Okay, so he was part of administration of Raja Ranjit Singh.
Yes, sir.
At what position he was holding when Ranjit Singh was the king?
Sir, at one point he was just a soldier, but he rose through the ranks and he was among the generals of the army. And later on, after a successful mission, he was given the charge as a governor, I think. I'm not completely aware of that. But he was in charge of Jammu and Kashmir.
And what was this ring fence policy of the Britishers?
Sir, I'm unable to recall that.
Okay, what's the literal meaning of ring fence?
Sir, like to create, to expand your territory by annexing the nearby and the closing territories in a
Do you
gradual
stand by a buffer state?
Sir, a buffer state between two political entities, we talk of like a buffer area. So the states which are not completely aligned with either of the political entities that they are surrounded by, so those are the buffer states.
Do you think we should keep POK as a buffer territory or should we annex it?
No, sir, I don't think that it should be kept as a buffer region because that can be a source of political destability for the region and it can further hamper its socio-economic development. So we have to look for a political reason for POK and it cannot be kept as buffer for long.
Okay, giving you a very hypothetical situation. Let's say Pakistan in its present crisis loses its sovereignty and some Western country has come up to occupy it, to annex it. If such a situation emerges, what should be India's policy response?
Sir, we as a country do recognize Pakistan as a sovereign country. So we shall not be looking this as an opportunistic take, and we shall go for ensure that Pakistan as a state, as an independent state, survives, and we can work that through UN Security Council and UNGA as well. So we need to bring and build consensus on that.
Let's say the attitude is very stubborn, like the Russian attitude in Ukraine is very stubborn. If this kind of stubborn attitude is shown by a Western power to occupy Pakistan, how do you fight it out?
So I think that Western power will not be able to sustain that for long. In fact, it would be disastrous for South Asia as a region if something of that sort happens. So we can build a regional consensus and we can diplomatically tackle that situation.
Do you think we should take some precautionary measure so just to ward off these kind of threats?
Yes, sir. Internal security has to be maintained and we need to keep our intelligence units aware of any such kind of...
Can SAARC move into political unity direction?
Sir, it would be very desirable if we can do so. But obviously we are facing issues of India and Pak relations. So, but if you are asking that it should be, then it should be done, sir. We need political integration which will further lead to economic and social integration.
Do you find Indian economy strong enough to afford some liberal treatment to neighboring countries in terms of liberal imports, giving them most favored nation status, so as to economically empower them?
Sir, it is not just a matter of economic capability on our behalf, but it requires, like the I.K. Gujral's doctrine, it was that we shall, as a bigger partner, give more than expect. And we shall work on that and we shall sure give assistance to our neighbors.
So do you think Government of India is missing that opportunity and that is being capitalized by the Chinese?
No, sir. Recently, even, sir, India has taken many steps in that direction. Even during the COVID crisis, we arranged for a separate fund under SAARC, and then we exported vaccines. We provide, even recently in Parliament, our S. Jaishankar has said that India is taking various issues for connectivity.
So why most of our neighbors are drifting apart?
Sir, they are testing their own options, but I won't say that they are completely drifting apart. But sure, China is a dominant player and becoming a dominant player in wooing our neighbors. So that is one reason that China is entering.
Okay, my final question is that how should we conduct, and do you think there is a change required, our Act East policy?
Sir, Act East policy as we have now is a very aspiring doctrine that we have, and it shall be pursued. But the changes, or the I would say better thing that we can do is timely implementation of the projects, especially the infrastructure projects that we have. So that will create more investor confidence and will bring better trust among the countries. So we can work in that way.
Thank you, Nitin.
Mr. Nitin, you are from UT of Jammu and Kashmir, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the status of the Legislative Assembly which used to exist before this scrapping of 35A and 370 was done?
Sir, that assembly that existed before, it does not exist as of right now. It was dissolved. But union territory that we have, it is with the legislative assembly. So, and that yet haven't, been formed. But
So it will continue to exist?
not that earlier legislative assembly.
Elections will be held for
Yes,
the same, right?
new legislative assembly is provisional.
Is there any plan to conduct election in near future?
Sir, I don't think the government has given any official word for that, but there is a buzzword among the people that within a year or two, they will be having elections recently.
Okay. So how the needs and grievances of the people at large are being addressed when they are not having effective, representation in a policy making body?
Sir, bureaucratic red tapeism is one thing that I would say because of lack of political representation, people face that. And apart from that, accountability is one issue that people face because of lacking political representatives. Then again, sir, democracy has to work through representatives and it cannot work through bureaucracy.
Okay. My last question to you. Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister of our country has flagged off, 2 trains in this Vande Bharat series. Can you name the originating and destination point of these 2 trains?
Sir, it was from Mumbai to Pune,
Mumbai to
which I
Pune?
remember.
And the second one?
It was,
The first one is from Mumbai to Sholapur.
okay.
And the second one is from
I think
Mumbai
it's
to
from Gujarat to Mumbai region.
Gujarat to Mumbai.
I'm not completely.
Nitin,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me some of the tribes of Jammu Kashmir which practice transhumance?
Ma'am, Bakarwals and Gujars, they are the tribes. Gadis are also there. They are predominantly from Himachal, but they exist in
Yeah,
Jammu and
they are in
Kashmir as
Jammu
well.
Kashmir
Yes.
as well. What are the government policies for these tribes and what has been the issue around them of late?
Ma'am, the government has decided to, to establish a system where they lead a settled life rather than transhumance. So, in pursuance of that, the Roshni Act was passed. It was way back in, I think, in 1990s, and the land was given to them. But recently, they have been facing issues of eviction from that land, which the government has specified that they are not to be evicted. And apart from that, education is one major thing that, one major sector that the government is trying to bring them into, and health sector and these
Has
are-
government been taking these decisions from the perspective of the tribals or from the perspective of a general population development which it follows for the mainstream population?
Ma'am, they are trying to address their issues, but obviously the political calculations they come into, and when they are taking decisions in that manner, they are obviously catering to the other sections of people as well. But the issues have been largely in their favor till now, and even now also we are seeing that they are given better treatments, and recently they were introduced into ST and SC status also, people of some region. And so government is working in that way, they will work gradually.
Right. We have seen in the latest budget that the allocation for minorities have been reduced quite significantly. What could be the rationale from the government for this step?
The rationale that government has given is that they are targeting that minority groups through other schemes, which are working for the general population. So rather than going specifically to minorities, they are trying to bring them to the larger fold of general population.
Has it been to the advantage of minorities, or it's just, whitewashing the entire thing?
Then we will have to wait and watch and see how it pans out.
Don't you think we need to put an extra effort for the people who are already marginalized rather than do something and wait and watch?
Then we have to do, in fact, that is the philosophy of affirmative action from state, and the state has been doing that. But if the state has come out with some now newer fiscal prudence, then let us wait and watch how it goes.
Okay, can you tell us some of the schemes which are currently running for the minorities?
The schemes that for example, the reservation that we have in jobs as well as in
For minorities?
for Dalits and
For
those
minorities
sections.
specifically, I'm asking.
For women specific, we do have.
You
like
call
there are
women as minorities?
weaker sections. They are. Ma'am, I'm unable to recall right now exactly the schemes.
Okay, anyway. Can you tell me what is glacial lake outburst floods?
And what happens in glacial and periglacial regions is that due to accumulation of glacial melt, the large ponds or large lakes are formed. And when, but these lakes, they are very precarious and they can be breached. So in event of any seismic activity or certain avalanche or something, so these lakes can be breached and this results into outburst of water, a large volume of
Which
water.
are the vulnerable regions in India for this gloves?
The entire Himalayan region is vulnerable for this. And
Have we seen a recent example where this has happened?
Well, it was in Uttarakhand only we had this glacial lake outburst floods in last year and even during the last year also, that Vishnugarh and Tapovan project that we had. So there was some glacial outburst flood in the upstream region, so which resulted in.
When we talk of landforms on the earth, this would be my last question to you. When we see the landforms on the earth, because of various forces, which landform do you see where chemical weathering is more important than the mechanical process?
Ma'am, the Savannah region that we have, their chemical weathering is most dominant.
Okay, any other example?
Landforms, the H plains and the Inselbergs that are formed because of chemical weathering.
Inselbergs, is it chemical?
Ma'am, the JC-Berg model that was given for this arid cycle of erosion. So in that we do have formation of Inselbergs as a result of chemical weathering.
And which are the landforms that you see in Jammu Kashmir? Because of which force is it there? Which predominant force?
Well, that is predominantly Himalayan landscape and due to plate interaction that we have. So it is reverse faults and also fold mountains are there.
Okay, thank you.
Nitin, you are a geography student, right? Tell me, on a political map, how do cartographers decide which country is to be of which color?
Sir, I have not ventured into that. I think that was random.
Random? Can it be random?
Sir, it can be, but only thing that they have to ensure is that the bordering countries should be of different color.
What are the colors primarily used on a political map?
Sir, green, blue, pink. I'm not aware of this field, sir.
Not aware. You mentioned that you are into stitching and sewing. What is the difference between the two?
Sir, sewing is like manufacturing apparels from the very scrap. For example, if we have to sew a shirt, that we will take the complete cloth and cut it and then sew it. But stitching is to mend certain gaps or certain small regions. So stitching is related to that.
And what is knitting?
So knitting is for that we used to knit through knitting needles. That the women used to knit like sweater.
Fine, just before we let you go, tell me what are the different swimming needles, numbers, how they would you arrive at those numbers?
Sir, I'm not aware of the very complete technicality of this, but we have numbers based on the diameter of the needle as well as the length of the needle and the thread that they can carry. So,
Suppose the number is 3 upon 4, what does it mean?
no, sir.
Fine, Nitin, nice talking to you. The interview is over, you can go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Please may I come in, sirs?
Yes, come in.
Good morning to you all, sirs.
Good morning. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sir, I'm Bhavna. I'm a native of Bengaluru, Karnataka. I did my schooling in Bishop Cotton Girls High School. Thereafter, I did my graduation in Electronics and Communication Engineering. Now I'm in Indian Railway Traffic Services. Recently, I was posted as AOM at Sholapur.
You're working as Sholapur
Yes, sir.
as AOM.
Yes, sir.
How do you find your job as AOM?
Sir, I'm starting to learn the nitty-gritties of my job. Right now, everything is going fine, sir.
Okay. Why you're not posted in the commercial branch? Why in the operating branch?
Sir, in fact, I thought that during the first 3 or 4 years of training, I would want to know the core of railway operations and how it works and how.
It was your choice or the choice of the administration to put you in the role of AOM?
Sir, it was my choice, sir. I had requested for operations.
Okay. Indian Railways is very much in the news. So, issue of IRMS, you must be fully aware. Now, tell me, what are the benefits of IRMS and what are the issues involved?
Sir, coming to the benefits, it is in fact done to reduce the departmentalism which was prevailing in railways, and it helps to increase the decision making ability and the frequency also, sir. Then with respect to the issues, right now it's at the very nascent stage. The amalgamation has been done at the railway board level and a new examination in the form of IRMS has been introduced. It is yet to be seen how it is implemented and executed, sir.
You must be aware that at the higher level of administration, at the level of general managers and the board members, now it is one post only, IRMS. Now you don't have a member for traffic services separately. Everyone has to compete for the post of the members, isn't it? Is it a good idea for a probationer who has been inducted through the civil services and got into the Indian Railway Traffic Service?
Sir, I think it will in fact promote merit. So the competition at that stage is good for the organization as a whole, sir.
What are the possible reasons for train accidents on railways?
Sir, there are two main reasons which I can identify. The primary reason is the human error and the second one is the asset failure, sir. Most of the accident, around 70% of them occur due to human error.
What railways has been doing to avoid the accidents?
Sir, they have come up with many new initiatives. One is with the train avoidance train collision avoidance system. The other one is Kavach. Other than this, they are going for signaling improvements, track improvements, and improvements in the coaching and the locomotives, sir.
Train collision avoidance system, how does it work?
Sir, the Kavach system, as it's known, it works on RFID sensors. So when a train senses another train or any other obstruction coming on the same track, it will in fact send a signal to break the train. So it works on RFID sensors, sir.
What is the share of freight traffic of Indian Railways in the total overall Indian scenario?
Sir, right now it is around 28 to 30%, sir.
What is the vision of Indian Railways?
So in the national rail plan, the Indian Railways plans to increase it to 45% of the total modal share.
How it will be achieved?
Dedicated freight corridor, wherein the entire freight lines which connect the metro cities. They'll be functional on a separate track. So depending on this, and also they are planning to attract more freight customers by developing units like business development unit at the zonal and the headquarter level, sir.
What is the concept of logistic parks?
So they are thinking of multimodal logistic parks wherein interconnectivity between a port, rail and road can be achieved so that the detention time will be reduced and it will increase the time and the punctuality of delivery, sir.
Can you give us example of any two such multimodal logistic parks created by railways?
Sir, I'm not aware about where the Gati Shakti cargo terminals have been operational yet, sir. So there are plans for it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavna, you belong to Bangalore Urban.
Yes, sir.
What is this urban concept here?
Sir, it is the district, Bangalore Urban District and Bangalore Rural District. So that is how it is divided, sir.
Bhavna, if we try to compare these two areas on the basis of a concept that is smart cities and smart village, how will you compare the two?
So smart city is where the employment opportunities are more in manufacturing and services, whereas in smart villages, the primary occupation is to do with agriculture, poultry, farming, as of these, sir.
So you can characterize whatever you have said about Bangalore.
So yes, sir, almost 70% of it matches to this. But as of now, even the rural areas are getting integrated into the urban areas. So this kind of a stark difference is reducing day by day.
Okay, so you have studied anthropology, and there is a concept, a very famous concept, pull and push factor. So do you see any kind of pull and push factor between these two areas, that is the Bangalore urban and Bangalore rural?
Sir, if I can see the pull factors for Bangalore urban, it would be the employment generation opportunities, because most of the people who are residing in the rural area, they'll have to come to the city for any kind of gainful employment. And the second aspect is with respect to the infrastructure, which is provided in a rural area. It is not that up to mark. Because even now there are not good road connectivity in many of the adjoining areas near Bangalore only, sir. So that is another push factor from the rural area and pull factor of the urban.
What is the population, respective population of both the areas?
Sir, I don't know the exact demarcation of population, but Bangalore city overall it is said to be around 1.3 crore.
Can you recall some of the important unique features of Todas of Nilgiri?
The Todas of Nilgiri, they are a pastoral tribe, and the most unique feature is they used to follow a polyandrous system of marriage. But right now it is drastically reducing the polyandry culture they had in their tribe.
This polyandry is performed through certain ritual. Can you recall the name of that ritual?
So I am sorry, sir, I don't know the exact name of the
You don't
ritual.
remember bow and arrow ceremony?
No, sir, I
No
do
problem.
not recollect it.
Bhavna, what is the difference between anthropology and sociology?
Sir, anthropology is the study of entire human being in time and in space. So in anthropology, we study even the history, the evolution related aspects, whereas in sociology, it is more to do with human communication with his fellow beings, how the society is formed or how he is a community or a group member.
Okay. Bhavna, if we compare North India with that of South India regarding existence of caste politics, so what is your opinion about that?
Sir, I think both in North and in South India, caste is a prominent player in politics, but there might be certain differences like how it would pan out.
Something more?
Sir, right now, if going through the Karnataka elections, there are certain caste groups who are affiliated to certain political parties as such. So this takes in a very strong form, especially in politics.
Which are the important caste groups in Karnataka?
Sir, in Karnataka, there are three main caste groups which have considerable vote share. One is the Lingayat caste, the other is the Vakkaligas or Gaudas, and the third is the other caste like SCs and STs, and prominent among them are Kurubas.
In Western India and South India, particularly, there were a number of movements against caste. Okay, but even then, caste is being strengthened in present context. What is your opinion about that? Why it is perpetuated?
Sir, right now I feel that caste is acquiring new identities. So the purpose that it was serving earlier with regard to the occupation, that is delinked. At least in the urban areas, there is no perceivable caste and occupation link. Whereas it forms an identity factor wherein the people in fact gain their pressure groups or any of their grievance redressal. So this is done through organizing community groups around caste. So this is how it is changing.
Last question from my side. What is SIGHT?
I beg your pardon, sir.
SIGHT. What is the full form of SIGHT? It is something related to green hydrogen. Now, can you recall it?
I'm sorry, sir. I have not.
Do you have any idea about green hydrogen mission?
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about that.
So, in fact, the government is thinking of using green hydrogen as a fuel in transportation. And it also plans to increase the production of green hydrogen in India.
What is the future of green hydrogen in India?
Sir, I'm unable to recollect the exact targets that the government has set out for this particular program, sir.
And what is the future of solar energy in India?
The plan to increase it to 450 gigawatt to meet our aim towards the net zero target by 2070.
Okay, thank you, Bhavna.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Bhavna, how are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm doing fine.
Bhavna, you are currently IRTS officer,
Yes.
railways. How many women are there in the railway board?
Sir, Jaya Verma ma'am is there in the railway board.
And the board strength is usually?
It is 5, sir.
Right. And how many women, as a women officer, how do you find railway as employer? What are the problems with women officers face in railways? Why are they underrepresented in railway board?
So one main thing from my experience, what I feel is that the infrastructure with respect to women officers is not that adequate, sir. Like wherein I go for field visit or anything, and there are no adequate toilets or restrooms or any kind of facilities. So this is one of the major problem. Other than that, sir, it is of course, as you said, a male-heavy organization. Maybe because of the nature of its work, which is more on the field work side. So that is the reason most women don't opt for it, or they in fact tend to go into the commercial aspect of it, sir.
So, do you believe that this reorganization that's been been conducted, will it help in women representation improving, or it will be further actually be a strain on women representation in this particular organization?
So, as of now, I feel that the reorganization will help in the representation of women.
Why do you believe so?
Sir, I feel so because earlier during the IES, Indian Engineering Services, most of them who were inducted through IES were male.
You are a qualified engineer. Why are you saying so?
Sir, I have come from the civil services, sir.
No, that's true, but you have done your BTech. So why are you saying women are bad engineers?
No, sir, not that they are bad
Why
engineers.
they are underrepresented in Indian Engineering Services Railways?
Sir, for that I do not have any reason, sir. But when I have seen the statistics from the past 3-4 years, there are not many women who come to the railways through the Indian Engineering Services, sir.
And you never wondered why?
Sir, I did wonder, but I did not get any convincing
You're an
reasons
anthropology
myself.
student. I mean, I'm expecting you to come something insightful. Okay, tell me, what exactly is the origin of patriarchy in terms of anthropology?
Sir, it was due to the like women who had the birth giving role and also the caretaking role. So because of this, during the early stages, she stayed back, and men was in fact going for foraging and hunting. So she looked after the distribution of financial resources. So therein, when there was a difference in the roles, men and women, it in fact evolved into the form of patriarchy in the later stages.
And what is the origin of language?
So the origin of language, it has to do with the genetic factors also, and also with the community and the group living nature of it. There was a FOXP2 gene which was found in the brain of evolved man.
What was its function?
So its function was to recognize and interpret.
Okay. Now you're coming from Bangalore, Karnataka, right? And Bangalore used to be the center for outsourcing from the entire world, actually. There was time when developed countries used to fear Bangalore. But that is no more the case. Why this service outsourcing industry is not growing anymore in Bangalore? In general, in fact, service outsourcing industry is shrinking. Why?
Sir, I feel that the service outsourcing, most of it has been automated now. So right now their focus has shifted from outsourcing to developing more indigenous or more technologies part of it, sir.
That brings me to this thing. How do you think this AI thing, the Chat GPT and other AI models going to impact the service industry, which is characteristically located in Bangalore and other Indian cities? The impact of GPT on these?
Yes, sir. So one thing is it will give a shift from the normal routine works to the more thinking aspect of it, wherein the programmers will have to perform codes for the AI to be implemented. So this is a shift that is visible. The second aspect is that these routine jobs, they are no more going to attract employment as they did before, sir.
Why are you saying if there will not be any routine work, as you said? So obviously the routine work, the workers which were doing routine work right now, will be rendered unemployed, isn't it?
So they are going to be skilled to manage the more innovative aspects of it, sir. For the very, like a simple example, sir, the chat which we will get on when we open any web page, there is a chat box which immediately pops up. Earlier this was done by the employees, now it is automated. So now those employees would be skilled and they would move up the ladder. So it is in fact beneficial for the employees also, wherein they are skilled.
So you see no threat to employment because of AI? I mean, that's you have been more optimistic than anybody else is.
Sir, threat to employment, especially in the routine work, will be there, sir. So that will require the industries and the government to push towards more innovative technologies and to upskill the employees who are currently doing their routine jobs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavna, who is the governor of Telangana nowadays?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect the name. I think Mrs. Tamilisai Soundararajan is the governor.
That's correct. And there is a controversy raising. What's that controversy?
Sir, I'm not aware of the controversy, sir.
The controversy is about Governor's general power to reserve bills for consideration for indefinite period of time.
So that was with regard to the state of Tamil Nadu, sir.
So what exactly is the controversy?
So whether the governor should have a certain time period within which he should give his assent to the bills, or if it can be reserved for long.
Okay, so what is your view about it?
So here I feel that if there are certain bills which would require urgent assent by the governor, then the parliament can come out with a kind of a legislation which can mandate the governor to look into the bills within a well-defined time period. As of now, there is a grey area which exists in this particular aspect. And going by the convention, the governor usually follows the aid and advice of the chief minister and his cabinet of ministers, sir.
Okay. Many people argue that GST has severely reduced the power of state finance ministers to bring about changes in the tax structure, including the procedure. Do you think it has disempowered the state government, particularly the finance department of the state government?
So to a certain extent, yes, sir. But then the provision of the GST Council, wherein there is adequate representation of the states along with the center, I feel that can be used in order to raise the concerns of the state governments.
So what is the method of decision making in GST Council? Is it consensus based or majority based?
So it is consensus based, sir, based on majority.
That means if, let's say, out of 28 states, 15 states agree to a proposal and remaining 13 disagree, proposal would still be taken over.
Yes, sir.
That will be completely ignoring. Maybe smaller states are agreeing to and larger states are disagreeing to. Is there any weightage given on the voting on the basis of population of states?
No, sir, I don't think there is any weightage on the percentage.
It's a
of
simple
population.
counting of number of votes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you think this is in the true spirit of democratic decision making?
So in that case, the parliament as a larger forum can be used if there are any serious issues with respect to the tax structure or anything that the states want to bring forth.
By the way, who is the finance minister of Karnataka nowadays?
So the portfolio is being held by the Honorable Chief Minister himself, Basavaraj Bommai.
And what was the budget proposal this year? What is the total outlay of Karnataka government?
So in fact, it was a revenue surplus budget of 740 crore. The total outlay was approximately around 3,09,000 crore or something, sir.
One of the controversial thing in Karnataka is Muzrai. Why there is a debate going around Muzrai? What is Muzrai?
So Mujrai is the state government's department to look after the temples or any other religious establishments. There was a controversy because the Karnataka government introduced a bill which in fact gave independence to the temples and the other religious establishments in the state.
So why controversy? If autonomy is given to temples, that should have been welcomed.
So the controversy was with regard to who would control the secular aspects of temples. So whether it comes under the government or whether it should be left to the religious sects alone.
Okay. And temple, Muzrai is also kind of allowance. So what is the rate? Who monitors collection and how it is used?
I'm really sorry, sir. I'm not.
You're not very
aware.
clear about
Yes,
this.
I'm not clear.
Okay.
About it.
So roughly how many temples are there which have been privatized or liberated as per the provisions of bill?
So I don't know the exact number of temples which are liberated, sir.
In Kerala and Tamil Nadu, at the position of priest, a person coming from all the different castes are qualified to be appointed. Even lower caste people, all the non-Brahmin, Brahmin caste people can apply and can get appointment. What is the position in Karnataka? Who can get appointed as priest in the temples of Karnataka?
So I don't know after the bill whether this would continue because I feel that the administrative aspects also will go into the hands of the religious sects which are governing the temple, sir.
So are you aware any non-Brahmins have been appointed as priest in Karnataka temples?
So there are certain temples in the coastal region where hereditarily it has been with the non-Brahmin communities only, sir. And even in old Mysore region, there are prominent temples wherein the lower caste people in fact be appointed as priests there also, sir.
So in that way, the temples in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala appear to be more progressive socially. As a student of anthropology, how do you look at the temple administration in northern India with respect to employment opportunities?
So with my experience and exposure, sir, I'm not very sure about how the temple administration in North India actually works. So I'm really sorry, sir. I'll have to study this more.
Okay. So do you think across the entire country, the temple administration must be opened for all classes of citizens to create that sense of equality which is promised in the constitution?
So yes, sir, this would be a very progressive step. So in fact, I feel that God belongs to all, and so every class or every caste of citizens should be given an opportunity to be a priest in the temple, sir.
Do we have any estimate as to how much employment is available across all the religious centers, including temples and mosques and churches and all other kind of gurdwaras?
So I'm not sure about the exact number of employment opportunities that would be available, sir.
Okay. And do you think that the employment available in religious endowments is a part of unorganized employment or organized employment? Do we have any policy stand of the government?
So I'm really not sure about the policy stand of the government in regard to this, sir. But I think that the priests or anybody who is directly appointed, they would come under the organized employment.
Do you
as
think
well.
Parliament should take initiative in this regard? Bring about it into organized structure of the economy?
Yes, sir. In fact, that would help in the growth of the economy also, and it would provide job security and protection to the people who are employed as priests or in other positions in the endowment department.
Okay. Government is actively promoting religious tourism. Which religious circuits are available in Karnataka nowadays?
So in Karnataka, there is a pilgrimage circuit in the region of Malnad area, and then another circuit is the Hampi circuit, wherein it is said that it was the birthplace of Hanumanji, the Anjanadri Hills. So that is being promoted as a religious circuit. Sir.
Okay. My final question. Why is Chamundeshwari temple important?
So Chamundeshwari temple is important because it is regarded as one of the prominent Shakti Peeth, and it is also the presiding deity of the erstwhile Mysore kingdom. So therein people in the region of South Karnataka regard Chamundeshwari goddess with devotion and faith.
Okay. Thank you, Bhavna.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavna, recently Prime Minister of her country resigned, saying that she was facing a problem of burnout. What is burnout and which country are we talking about?
So here we are talking about New Zealand, and burnout was maybe she was not able to do justice to her professional work and to herself as such, sir.
And how much do you attribute this to gender roles that are assigned in the society?
Sir, I do not know with respect to the society of New Zealand, but in Indian society, I feel that
But overall, have you heard of male politician resigning because of burnout?
no, sir, it is not common.
So gender has something to do with it?
So
Or
yes,
gender
sir.
role?
Yes, sir. Gender role certainly has a prominent role to play here. So I feel that the society expects more from women than from men, especially when it comes to balancing the roles, her professional and her personal lives. So here,
Okay, you're also a student of anthropology. So tell me why this Hakki Pikki tribe was in news. This is a tribe of Karnataka?
yes, sir. They are in fact semi-nomadic tribes from Rajasthan and Gujarat, but they have a prominent presence even in the regions of Karnataka. And it was in news recently because some of the migrants of Hakki Pikki tribe, they have in fact gone to Sudan to promote the sale of their Ayurvedic products in Sudan.
Okay, so what is the issue in Sudan? Why this civil war kind of situation?
So there is a tussle going on between the RSF and the army. So there is a civil strife which is going on to have the control of
So
Sudan.
India is also trying to evacuate its citizens. Which operation India has launched for that?
So India has launched the Operation Kaveri.
Okay. If we talk about Taliban regime in Afghanistan, so India is still not clear whether it wants to recognize the regime or not. Okay. What is your view? What should India do?
So in this respect, we have already started the engagements with Afghanistan, and we are following a pragmatic foreign policy approach.
Suppose
towards
Taliban
Afghanistan.
continues with its anti-women approach. Even in that case, because Afghanistan is very strategically important for us, should we go with our moral values that no, we should not recognize a regime which is not respecting women's rights, or we should be more concerned with our national interests, which is more in line with recognizing Taliban and not allowing Pakistan's strategic depth in Afghanistan?
So here, going with our national interest would be the best in India's interest, because it will prevent the spread out of terrorism into our territory as well, sir.
So morality is not respected in international relations.
So in international relations, it is the national interest which comes at the forefront of every country, and I think that is how it should be.
You're also an electronics and communication engineer. So tell me, what is micro LED?
So micro LEDs are semiconductor diodes which are at the micron level, sir.
And how they, like, what is different from OLEDs, if we have to differentiate? Why they are so much in demand these days?
So micro LEDs in fact increase the resolution of the screen in which they are used.
Basic principle of their, on which they are based.
Sir, I'm not sure about on which principle they are based, so I would certainly look into this, sir.
Okay, so in Karnataka, the elections are happening, right? And it seems that a lot of wildlife is getting discussed in the political speeches. So what is the reason for that?
So wildlife, it is because of two reasons, sir. Increasing man-animal conflict in some areas where there has been a reported.
I actually mean the reference to wildlife, not like wildlife per se. Like people calling somebody a snake or as poisonous as a snake. Does that come under the hate speech laws?
Sir, I feel that the personal attacks do in fact have a problem with inciting violence also. So politics should not go into the personal arena of any individual or person, sir.
Okay, my final question to you, and this is about the hijab controversy, and it started from Karnataka only. So the Karnataka High Court came up with a verdict, and then a Supreme Court bench of 2 judges, it gave split verdict on that. So if you have to decide, right, that whether this right to enforce a dress code of the institution is more important, or the right of a student to access education is more important. So what would you choose and why?
So in this particular case of hijab, considering that it is not an essential practice of the Islamic religion, wherein it is more of a choice of a person, and second is with respect to the notion of uniform. Uniform is meant so that everybody in that particular school will forget their own religious or class or caste or any kind of such barriers and come and be as one people in the school,
So
sir.
you'll go with uniform.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavana, tell me why railway budget was merged with the general budget?
Sir, it was merged because the outlay given, the outlay in the railway budget was in fact even lesser considering some of the main items in the general budget, sir. And secondly, it did away with the railway giving a dividend to the government. So therefore, it in fact helped to maintain the revenue with.
It's a good idea or a bad idea according to you?
So it is in fact a good idea, and it is needed to increase the capital expenditure of railway so that they can concentrate on the infrastructure development.
One final question, what do you mean by railway board?
So railway board is the main organization and the administrative head of Indian Railway, wherein coordination at the policy levels happen.
When there is a Ministry of Railways already there responsible to the Cabinet Secretariat, why there was a need for a separate railway board under the Ministry of Railways?
So with respect to this, I feel it is more to do with the planning purpose. Since railway is a very huge organization spanning across the length and breadth of India, it will help in planning purposes and also the coordination between the other ministries also, and vertical and horizontal coordination, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Bhavana. It was nice interacting with you. The interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you so much, sir. May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.